You know, I've always kind of wondered what type of person decides it's a good idea to actually go and work inside the Trump administration, especially if you're somebody who has to be a mouthpiece for the authoritarian regime. I mean, I, for one, could not wake up every morning and go to work for an administration who is kicking people out of the country because they don't like their political beliefs, or rounding people up and shipping them off to El Salvadorian gulags. And when you're talking about somebody like Karoline Leavitt, she steps in front of that briefing room and she puts on a smile and she lies her way through it. And I, for one, I value truth. And I also want to be doing things that are actually good in the world, not things that are going to be viewed as bad in this world, like the Trump administration. And I think what's more disgusting about Karoline Leavitt is not only is she lying all the time, but she also speaks with utter contempt for the American people, or for the reporters in the room who are actually trying to hold this administration accountable. So let's go ahead and take a look at her latest press briefing, and we'll go ahead and start off with this question, where she is asked whether or not the Trump administration is going to make public the names of those who are going to be attending the Trump crypto dinner. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
Garrett, go ahead.
Karoline, you guys are very proud of your record on transparency. I have two transparency-related questions for you.
Sure.
On the president's dinner tonight, will the White House commit to making a list of the attendees public so people can see who's paying for that kind of access to the president?
Well, as you know, Garrett, this question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House. But certainly I can raise that question and try to get you an answer for it.
Okay.
So do you think we will ever know the names of the people who are coming to this Trump crypto dinner? And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Donald Trump launched a meme coin a few days before inauguration. He fleeced thousands of his supporters out of millions of dollars, and now he is opening up a private dinner for, I think, the 220 top holders of this cryptocurrency, and we have no idea who is going to be there. We know that a lot of the people who have bought the most crypto don't even reside in the United States. And now you have an administration who is not even going to make these names public, which is just an abdication of their responsibilities. They are supposed to be more transparent than this with the United States public. And, you know, we just don't get that out of this administration. So now you've got President of the United States who is basically selling access to the office of the president, and they're not even going to let the American people know who is going to be in that room. And then somebody asks whether or not, well, was Trump advised just to maybe not do this crypto dinner because there is some corruption concerns around this whole thing?
Did anyone in the White House or in the White House counsel's office advise the president against holding this sweepstakes, whereby people who spent the most money on his Trump coin would then have access to the president at this dinner?
Again, the president has been asked about this. He has addressed this. I have also stated previously from this podium that the president is abiding by all conflict of interest laws that are applicable to the president. And I think everybody, the American public, believe it's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency. This president was incredibly successful before giving it all up to serve our country publicly. And not only has he lost wealth, but he also almost lost his life. He has sacrificed a lot to be here, and to suggest otherwise is frankly completely absurd.
I mean, how does she say this stuff with a straight face? Donald Trump and his family have made over $1 billion per month since he has been back in office. He just received a $400 million plane from the Qatari government. To think that Donald Trump is not using the office of the president to further enrich himself is just absolutely absurd. And when it comes to this crypto thing, Donald Trump and his family make money every time these meme coins trade hands. They are making transaction fees. And I think they've already made more than $300 million in those types of fees. So Karoline Leavitt is just lying to the American people here. And I do think the American people are rightly concerned that this president is the most corrupt president that we have ever seen. And he is undoubtedly using the office of the president to enrich himself and his family. It's just insane. It's just insane. Let's go to move on to this video where she is asked about the video that Trump played for the South African president just a couple days ago in the Oval Office, and we will go ahead and discuss it afterwards.
The president showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that?
What's not true, Yamiche?
It's not true that the video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that that video showed the crosses that represent.
Which is what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
I'm disputing the fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
No, it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verifies the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show?
Yamiche, what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated, and that's a ridiculous line of questioning.
I mean, oh my goodness. So what they are talking about here is Donald Trump had a meeting with the South African president, and in that meeting, he made these unfounded claims that there is a white genocide going on in South Africa, and then he proceeded to play a video for the South African president, and he made the claim that this was showing a huge burial site for all of these white people who had supposedly been murdered in this white genocide. So it was Trump who made the claim that this is a burial site for a white genocide. But that just simply wasn't true. And you'll notice that Karoline Leavitt, she kind of changed up the wording here. She said, well, each one of those crosses, they represented somebody who was killed and persecuted based on the color of their skin. That's not what Donald Trump said, and that is why the reporter is asking the question. There is no proof, there is no evidence to suggest that there is a white genocide going on in South Africa. They do have a problem with violence and gang violence and farmers being killed, but there is no concerted effort for white people to be eradicated in South Africa. It's just not true, and yet Donald Trump pushed that conspiracy in front of the South African president as though he was trying to force everybody else, just like we've talked about before, to live inside his conspiratorial reality. It is just absolutely ridiculous. Let's move on to this clip where she is just gleefully lying about Donald Trump's approval rating.
Because there's a reason he's sitting in this Oval Office. It's because he's the unequivocal leader of the Republican Party. Not just a president for Republicans, but all Americans. The president's approval rating is at an all-time high right now. And it's because he knows how to deliver.
Yeah, guys. Donald Trump, he's a president for all Americans, even though he was just on Capitol Hill saying that he didn't want to do anything that was going to help out Democratic governors because it's only the Republicans who are going to help make America great again. Yeah, he's the guy who is the president for all Americans. I mean, this is just all a load of nonsense. Donald Trump's approval rating is in the tanks right now. He's even underwater in most polls on immigration, his best issue. And he's underwater on the economy, which is arguably one of the most important metrics for a president. He's underwater there. I mean, to say that he has the highest approval rating that he's ever seen before. How do these people do it? How do these people do it? I could not stand in front of a room of people like this and just gleefully lie straight through my teeth. I just don't understand the type of person who is able to do this so willingly and flippantly, and it's just so gross to me. It's just so gross. Let's go to move on to this clip where she is asked about enriching himself yet again.
And just following up on the dinner tonight, you mentioned this is not a White House dinner, but the president is always the president, and the Trump family is making money off of this. So can you just explain, how is this not the president using the office to enrich himself?
All of the president's assets are in a blind trust, which is managed by his children, and I would argue one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president back to this office is because he was a very successful businessman before giving it up to publicly serve our country.
Yeah, Donald Trump was not a successful businessman. And again, it comes back to this whole thing that Donald Trump is trying to use the office of the president to enrich himself and enrich his family. She said that all of his assets are in a blind trust, but I don't ever think that that is established as being true. I could be wrong there, but I did not think Donald Trump put all of his assets in a blind trust. They were only being managed by his family. I could definitely be wrong on that, but it's neither here nor there. Donald Trump is inviting people to come have a private dinner with the President of the United States for the people who purchase the most amount of his meme coin and hold it for the longest period of time. And then he is offering up, I think for 25 people, a VIP one-on-one experience with the president if you are one of the top holders of his crypto coin. It's a recipe for corruption. We already know of I think a Mexican company who bought $20 million worth of this meme coin so they could try to get some FaceTime and maybe favorable treatment as far as the tariffs go. And that's only one case. And they haven't, we already went over, they have not released the names of who are actually going to be in attendance to this crypto dinner. Absolutely insane. We'll go ahead and show you this one last clip where she is asked about these new deportations that just occurred. They just decided to send a handful of people to South Sudan.
How are they supposed to trust us if we have radical district court judges who are going to say, no, you can't do that? And now these illegal criminal murderers and rapists have to sit in Djibouti with our ICE agents who now have to sit there for more than 2 weeks without the proper resources. This judge is not only undermining our immigration system, undermining our foreign policy and our national security, but this judge is undermining the safety of the ICE agents who are putting their lives on the line to remove this list of illegal criminal terrorists. It's truly despicable what's happening in our court system, and the president and this administration hope that the Supreme Court will do what it needs to do to rein in these liberal activist judges. And the Supreme Court has already said it is well within the president's purview to dictate foreign policy, and a radical district court judge should not be getting in the way of that.
Yeah, again, she's just full of shit here. What happened is they rounded up, I think it was 8 people, if I'm not mistaken. They rounded up 8 people, and they gave them 24 hours, I think is what it was. They gave them 24 hours to dispute the claims against them, which was in a direct violation of this judge's order that these people needed to be given 15 days as far as their due process goes. So the Trump administration blatantly ignored a court order. They put these people on a private Gulfstream jet, and they tried to remove them from the country and send them to South Sudan, which is on the brink of a civil war right now. And now Karoline Leavitt is getting all indignant because, the judge said that we have to hold these guys until we figure out what our next steps are. You guys put yourself in this situation. It was the Trump administration who didn't give them the following due process like the judge ordered them to. And now if they're sitting in Djibouti and you are having to use other resources because you guys didn't want to listen to the judge, well, that's on you guys. That is on you. So again, this administration continues to flout our laws. They continue to flout court orders. And Karoline Leavitt has no problem getting in front of this briefing room and pretending like it's everybody else's fault. Like the Trump administration can never be held accountable for anything. They can never do anything wrong. It is whatever Donald Trump says, that is what they should be able to do. Because as we know, this is an authoritarian regime, a wannabe authoritarian regime. Donald Trump wants to be a king, and therefore the judges who are actually trying to hold this administration accountable, well, they are wrong because they aren't Donald Trump. It is absolutely insane. It is anti-American. It is authoritarian. It's a little fascistic. It's all just gross. And Karoline Leavitt has no problem waking up every single morning and just spinning up the propaganda for the American people. I mean, we all know that these press secretaries, they're always fudge the truth here and there. But this Trump administration, I mean, it's on a whole new level. I hope that everybody can realize that this is a work of propaganda. Each and every time Karoline Leavitt steps in this room, every time she steps in front of the camera, she is telling more falsehoods than she is truths, which is just a new thing for the office of the president. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders this kind of propaganda for the Trump administration every single day. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. It is free. And if you guys want to see Donald Trump having the meltdown of his life during that Oval Office meeting with the South African president, do watch that video on the screen now. It is unbelievable. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.